got a great challenge this week. Dak's playing at a high level. CD's playing at a high level, and it's going to be, they're really turning it on as an offense and really starting to click. And when I say Dak's playing at the highest level, I think he's really back. He's healthy, and he's distributing the ball well. Had a tough one last week. Really was a tale of two halves. I thought that I give Vegas, their props because that quarterback, and they stuck with the run longer than they have in the past. They were running the ball effectively in the first half, and we were going to take away Devontae Adams, and other players made plays. The second half, we made our adjustments after we saw their adjustments, and I thought we played tremendously better than what we did in the first half. With that, I'll open up to questions.
Wink, what did you think of Xavier's comments after the game? Did they bother you?
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me because it's the first time it's ever happened in my career that a player would make a statement like that. So I think it was a case where the kid's just frustrated from losing. We spoke, we cleared it up. The example that he gave me of what he was talking about was an in-game adjustment, and it was over. I mean, it really took a while for him to point out to me what it was, but I think that you grow from that, and I just told him that that's something that it hurts the locker room, it hurts the defensive room. When you say something like that, and I'll tell you all the exact thing I used is it, and I understand clicks and all the things that you do, and I respect your profession, but the example I used in front of him and the entire defense is when you make a statement like that, it puts money in your pockets and takes it out of ours. I'm talking about the media, you know what I mean? And I said, you just have to understand that it was an emotional thing right after the game, and you just got to learn from it. So we're moving on.
Was there any validity to what he said in your eyes, or just all frustration? Is it all just speaking out of frustration?
I'll just keep that between us. But it's like I said, we're moving on. I spoke, because I had to evaluate. I had to go back and talk to the leaders. And when I say leaders, you don't have to have a C on your chest to be a leader. I talked to the vets, Ashawn and Nacho, I would go down the list, Bobby, I talked to everybody in every room. And I said, hey, is there's something that we're not discussing? Or is there a problem here? And to a man there said no. And so, like I said, we're moving on, and we'll see what happens when we come to Dallas.
Like, just one thing on that, you have those keep it real sessions with those guys very often. Is that because you have those? Was that particularly surprising?
That's my point. It was, because I end every meeting with, does anybody have anything, any questions, any concerns? Are we okay? Is your family's okay? Because it's a safe space. If you have something, say something. Do we like the plan? I check all the boxes, and I mean it when I say it. And then we've had discussions, and we've had some different personalities that have been in those rooms that you've had discussions, and I think that's a good thing. Before the fact, before the game, those type of discussions, and that's I said, I mean it when I say it. So if you have something, say something.
Were there conversations on the sideline during the game? That's what he seemed to say. Like he wanted to change things and he felt like he was being heard. So you're saying he didn't say that during the game, or?
I'll just let him explain that, because what he explained to me was a coverage that we ran one time. So, like I said, I just think he was frustrated. Like I said, he explained that to me afterwards. I didn't hear about it during the game, and that's why that's another reason why it caught me by surprise. But like I said, it's.
What's the best way to prevent it from hurting the locker room, like you said?
I think that we already did that. I think we talked about it as a group. And it's like I said, when I go in there, and it's not the easiest thing to do, to stand up in front of these guys and say, hey, is there a problem? You know, because there's a lot of people who just glaze over it and not even address it. We addressed it. We like confrontation. You know, I like confrontation. And I think that's the only way you can move forward as a defense and go from there. And if you don't do that, Pat, I think that, you know, you're letting something grow that is, it's needless to let grow.
Wink, will McKinney be in his usual role to start this game this week?
I mean, you're gonna have to talk to Daves about that. I haven't had any discussions with he or Joe about it, but you know, as of right now, we're planning on him to be in his usual role.
Do you think he grew from any of this in terms of after the fact, after he already said what he said?
Kim, I think you're gonna have to ask him that. You know, we'll see. You know, when we come to play the game.
It seems like that really hurt you, though.
Yeah, it did. It did. Because that's, you know, I've always been open and I've always been honest with players. And I think if you have a problem, it's just how we handle things in that room.
And this was literally the first time a player under you did this.
that you read it and you go, what? Shit, what is he talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's all right. We're moving on from it.
In that room, though, did other players have your back?
I think you got to ask them that. Everybody was positive with me that I talked to. So, you know, I think that, you know, but everybody is, you know, there might be somebody that's not feeling that way that tell you what you want to hear. I don't know.
And this is stuff that happens in these kinds of seasons.
Sure.
Right? I mean, even if it hasn't happened to you before.
Right.
It's a symptom of a losing season, I would guess.
Sure. It's frustration. It's, you know, however you, it's easy for me to come up and talk about it 5 days later. I know that. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to do now. I wouldn't, you know, I don't know how I would have reacted or what I would have said if he said this. Well, how do you feel? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, or whatever question you get asked. So.
Wink, since we've known you here, you always have a good read on how your defense is going to react to certain situations, how you're going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not an easy spot to go into Dallas after what happened in week one and whatever happened last week, how they feel. Do you have an idea as to how your defense is going to respond, or do you think it's going to be a positive?
I think it's definitely going to be a positive because of what we were talking about before, the leadership that we have in that room. You know, I mean, here's the thing. It's like we have to find a better way to start faster on road trips, especially West Coast, when you look at it that way. But I also respect and can appreciate the fact that there's a 4-minute drive and it's fourth down, and you guys, we have guys fighting their tail off to stop them on fourth down with 27 seconds left in the game. All right, that's not a norm in the NFL. Of how guys take it all the way to the end, and this group does. I said it before here. I love this group that we have, and you know, we played really good defense for the last month prior to Vegas, and I expect us to continue to just keep getting better and fix the things. You know, it's more technique stuff in this last game in the first half that got us, but I expect us to keep getting better.
Wait, McKinney's a pending free agent. Does this impact whether you would advocate for him coming back next year?
We got 8 weeks left, so we'll see where we're at the end of the season.
Wink, I know there's only so much you can do on defense, but I'm assuming most coaches are looking at what the paths to victory are in games, and obviously you guys offensively are going in with a young quarterback with not a lot of experience against a team that's got, as you just mentioned, some pretty good weapons. Is there any added urgency to score on defense? I know you want to do that every week, I'm sure, but just, you know what I'm saying, when you're in the situation you're in right now, everything you try to dial up or whatever. Well,
I mean, I think if there's a study of that of when defenses score, it's usually in a high-scoring game a lot of times when that happens. I think that we just need to try to, execute the best we can execute at the highest level, and I think that I think we got a good plan going into this, and see how it all comes out on Sunday.